Hi, Melissa. Thank you so much for taking out the time to share your experience of working with us here at The Abundant Accountant and specifically being in our 8-week sales mastery course. But before we dive in, could you share with everyone where you're at and what does your firm specialize in? What services do you offer?
I offer tax planning and then preparation and then also bookkeeping and business advisory services.
Oh, lovely. Great. And I would love it if you could share what were your stress levels like before you started working with me and how does it feel now?
It was pretty high. I had too many clients, not in the right areas, and definitely wasn't charging them enough. So yeah, right now I mean we're mid-February and I'm and not like behind and feeling like I have to work all weekend long. So it's
That's
been
awesome.
nice.
So you get a
Mhm.
little bit of time back during
Yes.
supposedly the busiest time of year. So for you, Melissa, what was your biggest challenge or problem that you had in your firm where you said, you know what, I'm burnt out, I'm lacking joy, I got too many clients, I'm not getting paid enough, my hours I was working were way too long. What was the biggest problem or challenge in your firm when we first met?
I was just stressed and I just didn't know where or how to say no. Yeah, I felt like I was drowning all the time.
Yeah. And how long have you had your firm?
I've had my firm about 5 years, almost 5 years now, on my own. I've worked in other firms before this, but yeah.
So you were drowning in your firm. You've had it 5 years. What was the moment that you decided you needed to do something about it, where you felt like you were just kind of the stress was at its max, you're at the rock bottom, you can no longer continue this way?
About last October, I just I just was working all the time and it was outside of tax season. It wasn't even like the time of year that I expected to work all the time. And
Wow.
I wasn't getting to do anything I like to do, and I was done. I needed to change.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that we met and you reached out for help because I know that's not easy either. But what I'm curious about are what other programs or coaches did you try to do or use or fix this problem since it had gone on for a few years? It was last October, you were kind of at your wits' end and you're like, okay, this has to change. I can't continue this way and have that kind of high stress.
Done a program that I paid for. I listened to a lot of podcasts, read some books, had ideas that there was a different way to run my firm,
Mm-hmm.
but really hadn't figured out a way to implement it. And then I did do the certified tax planner um,
Yeah.
program, and that helped like to realize, okay, wait, I can totally change some things.
Yeah.
And actually met you there,
Yeah.
and then that opened my eyes to like, okay, maybe I need to get some good help to change things.
Yeah, so what I'm curious about is when you went through that program we met, did you realize you had a sales problem or could you share? Because I think many firm owners, Melissa, might be in your shoes where we don't even really know what our problem is. Can you share a little bit about how you figured it out and how you said, oh, this is pretty much what I need?
I've always gotten clients. Like I've not had a problem getting clients. It was that they weren't necessarily the fit that I needed them to be.
So you didn't have a way to qualify them,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
That's the sales process. Okay.
Yep. And so that was part of it, and part of why I was, I listened to your podcast a lot. So I had some of your voice already in my head. Um and then I also with the certified tax planner class, I had come across a couple students in there that were students of yours. And so they really recommended your program for my problem.
Yes. Okay. So sometimes we don't even really know what our problem is, right? Because you think sales is getting more clients when really that's leads and sales is converting them and increasing your prices, which I know you did in the last 8 weeks. But and you heard about me through, people that knew me and took my program, listened to the podcast, but did you have any initial skepticisms or fears before you took the, plunge and decided to enroll and do this and make these changes in your firm during the busiest time of year?
One, I mean, yeah, because a lot of this 8 week period has been in tax season. And so that was kind of I was like, can I really take this on?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I had not really, I expect clients to pay me to coach them, but I never really paid a coach to coach me. So that was kind of oh, I don't know how you would put that, but, that was something that made me a little, skeptical, I guess, to an extent, and then then, yeah, I was like, wait a minute, I expect them to do this, why can't I? So, yeah.
So you invested in yourself to get coached in an area that you're not weren't that confident in, just like your clients are investing in you to coach them around their taxes and tax planning. So yeah, I guess you get to do for yourself what you preach to others, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Did you have any other initial objections before joining the Abundant Accountant and taking your firm to the next level?
Not, I mean, time and money
Yeah, and tell me a
objection.
little bit about that. Tell me a little bit about that, like how you overcame that, because I think there's a lot of firm owners that they're busy, they're stressed out. I mean, you were working all days of the week and now you're not because you made the change, but you had to sacrifice some things in order to make the time. And then you had to rearrange funds to put it towards this to make it the priority at the moment. So maybe you could share with other firm owners that might be struggling with,
It's
time
probably
and
just,
money.
yeah, it's probably just been like the last 3 weeks that I've noticed the extra time. But yeah, because I was like, well, I'll sell some more tax plans, and then that pays for
Beautiful.
Michelle, and then gets get hope with the hope and I'm seeing it, but of getting some of my time back. So
Yeah, I love it. I think you've gotten more money in your bank account and you're working less and you got your time back. So why don't you share some of your biggest wins and victories that you've had in the last 8 weeks here in the 8 week sales mastery course?
um increasing fees. I was doing a lot of tax prep. Did over 200 returns last year, and I'm looking at I'll probably do about 60 this year and make more money than I did on the 200. So that's, definitely a huge win.
So huge. Amazing. Any other wins or celebrations and victories that you'd love to share? How much total revenue have you increased?
25,000 so far in the 8 weeks.
And that's from like where you were before. That's just the net gain. That's
Yeah.
that's impressive. You should give yourself a pat on the back. And how much time do you feel you've saved on a weekly basis? If you're not working 7 days a week, while you're working 4 or 5?
I'm still working a solid 5. But yeah, compared to normally during tax season this time of year, I'm working 7. So that, 2 whole days back. I get a weekend again. That's
Love it. And I'd love it, Melissa, if you could share, what did you like best about working with us here at the Abundant Accountant and being in our 8 week sales mastery training program versus maybe different programs and other coaching and, certifications that you've gotten? What would you share that you like best about working with us?
I have like an actual sales process now. I have a binder that has steps, and this is what we do, and this is how we handle it. And so you're not having to think through every situation on what to do.
Yeah.
And it's a process that I'm still practicing and still but getting more comfortable with. But I had one just last week that I closed, and I would have never asked for that price before. Like I just yeah.
So proud of you. So proud of you. Just following the process.
Yeah.
Melissa, what would you tell someone who's another bookkeeping, accounting, tax, CFO firm owner who is serious about taking their firm to the next level? Like, what would you share with them who might be thinking about joining the 8-week sales mastery course?
Do it. Just trust Michelle and Denise and go for it. But you'll be very glad you did.
Thanks. Yeah, no, I'm so proud of all the what you've created and the process and like the client you just got a couple weeks or last week. So I'd love it if you could just, as we wrap up, what are you looking forward to the most in your firm now, and how optimistic are you about the future, and how do you feel about that?
I'm really looking forward to working with better qualified clients that are more my ideal target market and even yeah, the ones I've brought in so far, they really appreciate the services. They are they meet all of my my red rope. They you know they meet my
Criteria.
yeah criteria and then that's just more energizing because they're not draining me. They're not asking for things that are nowhere near what I want to do or provide
Awesome.
and they really want to have a good relationship with me versus coming in and having a tax return done once a year. So
Yeah. Love it. Well, thank you so much for taking out the time to share your experience with others. Is there any other last words that you'd like to share with another firm owner, or maybe something I didn't ask you that you want to share about the program that you thought was just so unique and interesting and different that you wish you would have known before we started working together?
I you review our homework. Like we it's not that we're just left on our own to do the homework. You actually review it and give us notes and make sure that it's going to work for us. And instead of just here's a bunch of things, do them, and then we never hear from you again. You give us feedback, and
Yeah,
that's
every week. Every week. As long as you turn it in, we give you the feedback. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Melissa, for sharing. I can't wait to hear what you create in the next year, and I appreciate you taking out this time.
thank you.